Hi everybody, my name is Rachel. I am a manifestation and abundance mindset coach for women. So I work primarily with women in the health and wellness industry and also those transitioning out of corporate. So one of my missions in the world is really to help women to step into their true power, to fulfill their potential and recognize the real worth of the gifts that are inside of themselves so that they can step into their abundance and wealth so that they can have a bigger impact in the world with the soul-led work that they do. I want to talk today about your relationship to money. So it's a really important part of our ability to manifest wealth, to manifest prosperity, to manifest money. And it's really important that we get really clear on what our relationship is to money. And that's also to know that we can change how we relate to money. So if through the course of this video or any way you realize that you don't actually relate that well to money, perhaps there's a lot of scarcity, perhaps there's a lot of awkwardness around money, perhaps there's kind of like an ickiness around money, perhaps it's not something that you feel comfortable talking about, perhaps it's not something that you feel comfortable hearing other people talk about. And this is all really good to just start to be aware of, okay? Like over the coming days, weeks, just notice like when it comes to having to have conversations with people about money or talking about money, or you hear somebody else talking about money, notice what it brings up in you, and that will be a really clear signpost and guide as to how you personally relate to money. So money, how we relate to money has a real similar, there's a lot of similarities in how we are in relationships. And that can be intimate relationships, or it can be like friends or families, okay? Because it's like that quote, that classic quote, like how you do anything is how you do everything. So if there is an abundance in your life, like you feel really abundant in your life around money, then you will probably feel very abundant in your life around your relationships. Yet if you feel like there's a lot of scarcity, and when I say I'm talking about emotions here, I'm not talking about physical money that you have, because people can be very wealthy by whatever your, financial like representation is of wealth, but can still live in scarcity. So this is more an energetic thing. Like you can live in scarcity and have shit tons of money, and you can be feeling really abundant and not have much money. But it's really interesting to notice, like, how do you feel around money? Like, how do you feel around the topic of money and wealth? And the chances are that will be mirrored in how you are within relationships, how you are in intimate relationships, how you are in your professional and your personal relationships. So some of the things that are really important for us to have as qualities in a successful relationship, be that intimately, be that with money, and these are not, there are other things as well, but some of the most important things that really come into money and other relationships are things like forgiveness, honesty, truth, and transparency. So start off thinking about your relationship to money first off, and do you find yourself able to reach a place of forgiveness, whether it is to yourself for perhaps the way that you have behaved around money, perhaps things that you've done in the past, or maybe not even in the past, maybe in the like very recent past, or present reality? Are you able to come to a place of forgiveness about decisions you've made, about things you've thought, about beliefs that you've held, about actions that you've taken around money? And also, are you able to reach a place of forgiveness around, like, for other people? Perhaps if somebody else has like done something to you with regards to money, like, are you able to find forgiveness? Because if not, that you'll be carrying that anguish and that not necessarily hatred, but that like energy, that negative energy around with you into how you relate to money. Okay, and then honesty, right? Are you able to be honest with your money? Like, are you able to be honest about what comes in and what comes out? Are you honest when you talk to perhaps your significant other about your money? Okay, and it's not that you need to ask permission, I don't believe, in a successful relationship around finances, but notice if you sort of hide stuff away. And then this kind of leads into truth and transparency as well. Like, are you truthful about, you know, the money that you make, or how you spend it, or how you relate to it? Like, are you transparent? And again, like, all these qualities are so important within relationships as well, right? Forgiveness, honesty, truth, and transparency. So the chances are, if you have challenges in relationships, say like in an intimate relationship or with your friends, around like finding forgiveness, being honest, truthful, or transparent, then the chances are that these qualities, that challenge of quality within the relationship, will also show up in how you relate to money. Okay, so just have a think, like, what comes up for you around money. Like, notice if, so one of the things that I used to do, and it was a really ingrained habit, and I think that it came from, you know, growing up with parents who were quite meticulous with their money. They were both accountants, but there was always this like, oh, I've got to do my tax return. Oh, I've got to, you know, whenever it came to financial things, it's like, oh God, I've got to do this. Oh, it's such a bore. Oh, gosh, it's so, the message that I received growing up was that staying on top of your money, staying on top of your expenses, staying on top of your bills was just a fucking bore and a chore, and it was hard work. So as a result, and also growing up with two parents who were accountants, who lived in the who worked in the financial field, I just pushed back. Like, I didn't want a thing to do with any of that. So I used to literally ignore my finances. So I would look in my bank accounts like once a month at best, but sometimes it would be once every few months, right? And the worse that I felt about my state of my finances, the less that I would look and pay attention to them. So, and then it would come to me finally realizing that I'd have to look in my bank account because maybe I was getting a letter from the bank or something, and I'd open my bank account like this and be like, oh God, like, and oh, okay, quick. And I would spend as little time as possible looking at the numbers in there, and then quickly shut down my bank account, like the internet banking, so that I just didn't have to pay any more attention to what was in there or what I perceived as lack. Okay, and remember that like lack, abundance, like, it's all perception. So somebody else could have looked in my bank account and seen the numbers that were in there and be like, oh my gosh, you've got so much money. But at the time I didn't see that, and I was so ashamed, and I had so much fear. A lot of the emotions for me was around shame because of the way that I was brought up. My dad used to open my bank statements and give me really unsolicited advice around how I should or should not be spending my money, and that led to a lot of feelings of shame and control, like somebody trying to control me. And my mom, because my mum didn't want to be controlled by my father in terms of her finances, she became very secretive around what she spent. And so this is what I saw growing up around money and around wealth and around how conversations and how relationships happen around money. So it led to being very confused, and it led to a lot of negative emotions around money and around wealth. So it's really important that we start to understand this, and we start to notice, like, am I avoiding getting really clear on my finances? Am I avoiding looking at my bank account? Am I avoiding looking at the bills that I have to pay? You know, have I got bills racking up that I'm just sort of avoiding and ignoring? And it's really important that we gain absolute clarity as well. We get absolute clarity on what's coming in and what's going out. Okay, so really, like, at any given moment, we should know, last month this much came in, last month that much comes out, this is roughly how much I spend, or even exactly, like, on a month on these different things. Okay, and that's so important for us to rebuild this relationship with money. So notice again, like, where do you stand, like, of those things that I've just talked about? Where have you know, perhaps just gone, whoa, I have no fucking idea what's coming in, like, I have no idea what's going out, and like, I skim through my accounts and I have no idea what's in them. This will be ultimately stopping you from getting what you want. It really, really will. You cannot become successful and wealthy and abundant if you don't pay attention to what's going on. Okay, so there might be a lot of healing that needs to be done around like your perception of wealth and abundance and money. And it's probably one of the biggest tasks that can be one of the most confronting during this process. But I assure you, like, it is such a powerful thing to do, to gain absolute clarity and to look at like why, if you are somebody who, like I was, kind of really hid from what was in my bank accounts, thinking that if I didn't look it would change or that something different would start to happen. I mean, when I speak about it now, it sounds like utterly ridiculous, right? So think about like, where is your challenge point? Like what in you gets really triggered at the prospect of relating to money better, being clearer with money, being more honest, being more forgiving, being more truthful, being more transparent. And this doesn't necessarily have to mean in terms of being more truthful to somebody else or to somebody else, but it's about being truthful to yourself. Like, where are you really at? Like, gain crystal clear clarity on your financial situation, okay? And then we work from there. So this is one of the big breakthrough like exercises that I work through with my clients, and I'm constantly doing this on myself. And this in and of itself has so many aha moments where it's like, oh my gosh, I just realized that I've spent the last X amount of years like ignoring my finances. So I'd love to hear what this triggers in you, because it definitely triggered a lot in me when I first started doing this and getting clarity. So if you are ready to really dive in to getting absolute clarity on where you are, getting absolute clarity on where you want to be, not only with your finances, but with that vision with your life, okay? And as I said, like, I work primarily with people in the health and wellness industry, but not exclusively. So I was actually talking to a client yesterday who was really keen to sign up for my program launching October, and she's not in health and wellness. She was like, oh, I thought it was only for people in health and wellness. It's not. It's just that I have spent a decade in health and wellness, so that's what I know best. But really, these teachings are universal. They apply to men, they apply to women, they apply if you're in health and wellness, they apply if you're a teacher, even if you're working in a job for somebody else. You can manifest more than what you already are experiencing in your reality. So if you really are ready to step up and really do the inner work, because most of this is inner work, and you're really ready to take that leap, you're ready to take control of your finances, to take control of your power, to step into your worth so that you can fulfill your potential and just feel like you're living a more abundant life, then send me a message. My group program starts mid-October, and I will be taking you through this whole process where we look at our woundings, we look at our conditioning, we look around the messages that we've received around money and wealth growing up and how that's inhibited us up until now. And then we work through a whole process to free ourselves from that conditioning so that we can raise our vibration and call in exactly what it is that we desire. And this work is continuous, because we break through a particular, say, level of earnings or mindset of abundance, and then we reach another level. So then we keep breaking through and breaking through. So it doesn't matter where you're at in this journey, if you're brand new to the concepts of manifestation and abundance, or if you've been a dabbler for a really long time. I did a video about dabbling a few days ago, go and check it out. These teachings are relevant for everybody. So let me know. I would love to hear from you. I'm also going to be doing a webinar, so a much longer teaching in a couple of weeks, all around manifestation, abundance, and how you can really practically apply it to your life. And I'd love to hear from you, particularly around like, where are you struggling? Like, what part of this process is just not landing for you, is not working for you? Do you feel really confused about? And I would love to be able to talk to that in my webinar. So have a beautiful day, everybody. I will be back tomorrow, and I really look forward to hearing from you, to hearing your comments, your thoughts. Let me know if you're watching this on the replay. I'd love to know who's tuning in. All right, have a beautiful day, everybody.